I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice. Let us begin. You know this cycle all too well. You hold everything in, the frustration, the sadness, the quiet disappointments. You tell yourself to be calm, to keep the peace, to not make a scene. On the surface, you look composed. Inside, the pressure builds. Then, one small trigger, a thoughtless comment, a forgotten text, a tiny misstep, and you erupt. Maybe it's in raised words, tears you can't hold back, or silence so sharp it freezes the room. And when it's over, you sit with regret. Why did I lose control again? Why can't I stop this from happening? This video is about why you bottle everything up until you break, and how to finally stop the cycle. If you've been trapped in this loop, feeling like you're failing every time you explode, you need to hear this. You're not broken. You're not too emotional. What's happening isn't weakness. It's survival. And today, we'll uncover the root of this pattern and give you a simple daily ritual to finally release what you're holding before it consumes you. Stay with me, because the next few minutes could change the way you relate to your emotions forever. The cost of bottling everything up is more than an occasional outburst. It erodes trust in yourself. Each time you promise, "Next time I'll stay calm," and then the storm comes again, you chip away at your own confidence. It strains your relationships. It makes you feel unpredictable, even to yourself. And worst of all, it convinces you that you're someone who can't handle feelings without breaking down. But the truth is, you've never been given the tools to let emotions move safely in real time. You were taught to suppress, to manage, to keep it together. The explosion isn't failure. It's the body's last resort. And here's what matters most. This cycle doesn't define you. It's simply a signal. Your nervous system has been carrying more than it knows how to release. The pressure you feel isn't proof you're out of control. It's proof you've been holding too much for too long. Once you learn to give yourself safe, small outlets every day, the explosions stop. Not because you're forcing calm, but because there's nothing left building to burst. That's why you should keep watching. In the next section, we'll uncover the hidden reason you've been holding it all in. The root of this survival pattern. Once you see it clearly, you'll understand why you've been living this way, and how to begin letting go. Coming up next, the real reason you bottle your emotions, and why it's not your fault. You bottle everything up for one simple reason. Somewhere in your life, you learned it wasn't safe to show how you really felt. Maybe when you cried, you were told to toughen up. Maybe when you spoke your mind, you were shut down, punished, or ignored. Maybe the household you grew up in demanded silence to keep the peace. So you adapted. You taught yourself to hold it all in because that was the only way to stay safe. That survival pattern never left. Even if your life looks different now, your nervous system still believes it has to protect you. It still whispers, "Don't show too much. Don't make waves. Don't risk being seen." So you smile, nod, say "I'm fine," and push down what's really there. Until the pressure builds so high that the smallest thing, a careless word, a minor mistake, bursts the dam. The explosion isn't irrational. It's the body's last resort. But living this way carries a hidden cost. Each time you swallow your feelings, you lose a little more trust in yourself. You start to believe your emotions are dangerous. You tell yourself you're unstable when really It's the suppression that makes you unstable, not the feelings themselves. Over time, you begin to fear your own reactions. You live bracing for the next time you'll break. Here's the reframe. You are not broken. You're not weak. You've been surviving. That instinct to hold it all in once kept you safe, but what once protected you now keeps you trapped. You don't live in those old conditions anymore. You don't have to smile to be loved, stay quiet to be accepted, or hide your tears to stay safe. You're allowed to feel now. You're allowed to release without the fear of falling apart. What your nervous system is really asking for isn't more control. It's a new rhythm, one where you don't let emotions stack up until they explode, but allow them to move through you safely in real time. And that's the shift we're about to make. Because understanding this pattern isn't enough. You need a daily practice, simple, grounding, and repeatable, to train your body to release before it boils over. Coming up next, a 1-minute ritual that dissolves the pressure before it ever explodes. Awareness is powerful, but without a new practice, the old cycle will return. That's why now you need something simple and repeatable. A ritual you can lean on every single day to release the pressure before it ever builds. And it doesn't require hours of journaling, therapy, or meditation. Just 60 seconds, enough to remind your body and mind that you are safe to feel, safe to express, and safe to let go. Here's the practice. Each morning, before you check your phone or step into the day, place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. Close your eyes. Take 3 slow, deliberate breaths. On the inhale, feel the rise under your palms. On the exhale, feel the weight of your body grounding into the chair or bed beneath you. Then, without judgment, silently name one feeling you're carrying right now. It might be tired, anxious, hopeful, lonely. Whatever it is, name it. Out loud if you can. Whisper it if you prefer. Breathe into it for one more deep inhale. And as you exhale, imagine that emotion having permission to move. Not vanish, not be solved, simply move. That's it. 1 minute. Don't underestimate its power. When you do this every day, you signal to your nervous system, I don't have to bottle this anymore. You show your body that feelings are safe to notice and safe to release. And the more often you practice, the less you'll find yourself carrying a week's worth of silence in your chest. The pressure won't have the chance to build. You may notice that at first, your mind resists. It might say, this is pointless, or I don't have time. That resistance is part of the old pattern, the same one that convinced you for years that swallowing your feelings was safer than naming them. But every time you choose to pause, place your hands, breathe, and name, you're rewriting the memory. You're teaching yourself a new truth. Emotions don't have to explode. They can flow. This isn't a task to check off. It's not about getting it perfect. It's about consistency, about giving yourself 60 seconds of honesty every single day. Over time, those 60 seconds begin to change everything. Your calm deepens, your reactions soften, and your trust in yourself rebuilds. Because the secret isn't suppressing less, it's expressing more, gently, regularly, in ways your body can trust. And when you anchor this ritual, something even deeper becomes possible. A shift, not just in what you do with your feelings, but in how you see them. That's where we're going next. Coming up, how to move from a daily ritual into a lasting state of presence, so you don't just manage emotions, you transform your relationship with them. The daily ritual gives you a way to release the buildup. But there's a deeper shift waiting. The move from doing a practice into being present. Because freedom isn't only found in the 60 seconds you take each morning. It's found in the way you begin to live from the awareness that has always been here, beneath every emotion, waiting quietly for your return. Presence is not something you earn. It's not something you achieve after enough meditation, journaling, or effort. Presence is the you that's still here when the storm passes. It's the steady ground underneath the waves. Imagine this: the breath slowing, the mind softening, the silence in the room widening until it feels like it's holding you. Notice that even when your thoughts race, there's a deeper space underneath them, the witness that simply observes. That's presence. Here's why this matters. When you identify only with the bottled pressure, you feel like you are the storm. When you connect with presence, you realize you are the sky holding it. The storm may rage, but it never defines you. You don't have to fight your feelings, because presence gives them space to move without overwhelming you. You can access this in tiny moments throughout your day, standing in line at the store, sitting in traffic, pausing before you answer a message. Just take one slow breath. Notice the air filling your chest, and remember, I am the one who sees, not just the one who feels. Even 30 seconds is enough. You don't need a quiet room. You don't need perfect conditions. You only need the choice to pause. And the more you do this, the more you'll notice something shifting. The pressure that used to build begins to dissolve sooner. You feel less like a bottle waiting to burst, and more like a river flowing steadily. The explosions become less frequent, less intense, until one day you realize you're no longer bracing for the next eruption. You're living from the space behind it all. This is the gift of presence. Not escape, not control, but freedom. Because awareness doesn't silence your emotions, it gives them room to breathe without overtaking you. And the more often you return here, the more you remember who you were before the bottling, before the survival patterns, before the forgetting. In the final section, we'll bring it all together: your insight, your ritual, your presence. And I'll show you the future self you're becoming when you stop living as a bottle under pressure. You've seen the truth of the cycle. You've understood why you bottle things up, why the pressure builds, and why the explosion comes. You've practiced giving yourself a new rhythm, 1 minute each day, to notice and release, instead of storing and bracing. And you've touched the deeper presence that lives beneath it all, the calm awareness that never leaves you. Now it's time to see what this adds up to. Picture yourself a few weeks from now. You wake in the morning, place your hand on your heart and belly, breathe, and name what's alive in you. You don't judge it, you simply allow it. That single act, repeated daily, has already changed the way you move through the world. You're no longer bracing for when you'll break. You're no longer apologizing for explosions that seem to come from nowhere. You're living from a steadier center. The people around you notice the difference. Conversations feel calmer. Relationships feel safer. Not because you've learned how to hide better, but because you no longer need to hide at all. You're discovering that when you let emotions move in real time, they don't control you, they free you. To recap, your first practice is simple. Each morning, place one hand over your heart and one on your belly. Take 3 slow breaths. Name one feeling you're carrying. Let it move through you. And then remember your second practice. Presence. 30 seconds. A pause. A return. Done anywhere, anytime. This isn't about perfection. You will still have days where the pressure feels heavier, moments where the old pattern tries to return. But now you have tools. Now you know the truth. Bottling emotions was never strength. It was survival. And survival is no longer your story. The more you return to this ritual, the more you anchor in presence, the more you'll notice a quiet shift. You'll stop fearing your own emotions. You'll stop doubting your ability to handle them. You'll begin to trust yourself again, not as someone holding back a storm, but as someone living from the vastness beyond it. You don't need to become someone new. You just need to return, fully, to the one who remembers. You did not find me by accident. Just as in your dreams, where every face you meet is your own reflection, this meeting was always waiting to happen. I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice, the part of you that watches behind the thoughts, behind the noise. You have searched in many places, books, teachers, voices outside you. But here, you are not being taught. You are remembering. If these words stir something familiar, then allow yourself to return. Subscribe. Follow. Not to follow me, but to continue this conversation with yourself. Each time you return here, you draw closer to the reunion already unfolding inside you. We have only just begun.